All right, we have a very special guest on the show today. She is running for the House of Representatives. She is former state senator of our great state of Ohio. Nina Turner, how you doing, Senator?
Oh my God, I am so good. Dario, how are you doing
I'm
today?
good. I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. So, last time you ran, it was it's it was, there was a lot of attention on that race. It seems like this time around there isn't as much as attention as it was before. Do you are the voters engaged? Is it the people in power not paying attention? Like, is there something? Is the intensity still there?
I think from certain forces, the intensity is still there. I mean, we have super PACs and dark money groups that have come into this race, especially over the last 2 weeks. I mean, we're down to a couple of days left, but that intensity is still there. On the other hand, the intensity for the voters, I mean, we are seeing right now that it's going to be a very low voter turnout, which makes me concerned, not just for this race, but overall, Dario, when you have a group of people, especially in a city as poor as the city of Cleveland, who have decided to just opt out and not participate. So, in that way, I think all of us, no matter who we support electorally, should be concerned about representative democracy and where that takes us.
Hmm. And on that note, I would think that one of the things that could probably have garnered a little bit more interest in this race is if there had been a debate between yourself and Congresswoman Shontel Brown. Is there a particular reason why there wasn't a debate or anything like that this cycle?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the closest we got to having a debate was the interview that the Plain Dealer conducted with both of us side by side. And if people want to go to cleveland.com, they can listen to that. That was the only opportunity to have us kind of on the same. We were in a virtual space together, but that is as close as we've gotten. And I think it's bigger than that, to me, because this is a midterm election year. So I want, your listeners to think about this. I mean, we have all five of our constitutional offices in the state of Ohio on the ballot, and that's the governor, the auditor, the secretary of state, the attorney general, and the treasurer. And we have a competitive U.S. Senate race as well. And so the fact that there are reports out there, read any major newspaper in Ohio, showing that voter turnout is very low in this midterm election across the state, and it is especially low in Cuyahoga County, should cause us all pause. So while your point, I definitely understand your point, which is it could have brought more enthusiasm and fire to the race had there been other debates other than the plain Diller candidates forum. I really believe that there's something deeper going on in this state and across this country. I believe that people who are in struggle mode for most of the time because they're working so hard just to make ends meet, they are starting to disengage because they don't believe that anybody really cares about changing their material conditions. And that is one of the reasons why I am running. I want to awaken the sleeping giants. I know we talk a lot about empowering people, but the power is already theirs. They just have to use it and put a condition for their votes. The vote, this is a transaction, and you should not just give anybody your vote. And I don't care who it is.
We're talking with former State Senator Nina Turner, who is running for the House of Representatives. And on that note, on what you just talked about, one thing to me that I'm punching both parties for this because I believe
Sure.
that we as African Americans specifically, we deserve options. We deserve a choice, and it's
Yeah.
interesting to me for people to some people to react to your candidacy as if like, how dare you give black people an option? Do you
Right.
see do you see some of that as well in people in this political system who feel like black people don't deserve a choice?
I do, and even some black people are doing that as well because they want to preserve the status quo. Everybody deserves a choice. And it is vitally important for the Black community, especially in this district, because of how this district was created. This district was created by way of the Voting Rights Act. It is because of the vision of both of the Stokes brothers, the Honorable Carl B. Stokes and the Honorable Louis Stokes. One was the first African American mayor of a major city, and then the other was the first African American congressperson, not just in this district, but in the great state of Ohio. That came by fight. Nobody came down from on high, air quotes, and gave this district to us. They fought for it. They had a vision for it. And that is exactly what they did, believing that the Black community needed representation. The district is definitely a very, mixed, diverse district, but for a very long time, this district was majority African American. So yes, we deserve to have choice. And, candidates have a right to put forth their agenda and their vision. But what we should not be doing in the United States of America is making it seem as though somebody is owed or entitled to any seat. They must earn the seat every time they run, and that's called an election, and that is what elections are about. They're about the exchange of ideas, and it does, especially to your point about Black people, it's just especially, and I think all working class people are being put upon right now, and the poor too, but especially this particular district, that the type of outside forces that have come in here now, are really treating us as if we're expendable. They're treating our community as if we can't think or don't have a right to have a choice. And that is absolutely wrong. And I want people to know that our district should not be for sale. That the people who live, work, play, struggle here, hope, and dream here should be the ones to make the decision, and not oligarchs. We got a multi-billionaire who's put $1 million into this race, a cryptocurrency guy. And then you have an oil baroness who dumped $2 million into a group, DMFI, that has placed $1 million of that into this district. And then all kinds of other dark money super PAC groups are popping up. It's not because they care about the people in this district. They don't care that Cleveland is the poorest city of its size. They don't care that environmental racism is happening, or that people can't make ends meet, that one of every two children go to bed hungry at night. See, it'd be different if they gave a damn. But they don't care about that. They want to be able to buy this seat. And by buying it, they get to choose, not us. They want to be able to choose who leads. And that is wrong, whether it's the 11th Congressional District in Ohio or the 11th Congressional District somewhere else. Having oligarchs come into communities and make the decision is wrong.
We're talking with former State Senator Anita Turner, who's running for the House of Representatives. And on that note, it's been very interesting to me to see some of the attacks that you have come under. Obviously, it looks like most likely the House of Representatives is probably going to change hands in the November election. And it's very interesting to see attacks against you, saying that you won't be able to work with people, that you can't work across the aisle and get things done, which is weird to me because they also attack you for not being quote unquote Democrat enough. So it's weird to kind of see both of those attacks happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your history, things that you have done before, and places of possibilities of being able to see things that you can work with other people who might be of different political persuasions to get things done.
Hey, it's called "Let's Throw Everything at the Wall and See What Sticks." It's really ridiculous, Dario, because the George Floyd Act has not passed, and I'm not there. The John Lewis Voting Rights Act has not passed, the full body, the full House, passed the House and then passed the Senate. I'm not there. So the things that were promised, particularly to the African American community, have not passed. And I'm not there. The point being that the animus should be pointed towards those neoliberal senators in the United States Senate, and not towards me and other freedom fighting progressives who are really just standing up and fighting for more, asking for more. So yeah, I can get along with people just fine, Dario. I'm looking forward to it. I can get along with you if you believe that the American people deserve a pay raise, $15 an hour to start. Economists are saying that it should be closer to $25 an hour had it kept up with inflation. I can get along with you just fine if you believe that we need to cancel student debt and give relief to 45 million people and their family and their friends. We can get along. I can get along with you just fine if you understand the imminent crisis that we face and that the UN scientists just reiterated this, and other scientists that don't necessarily work for the UN, but they just said hot dog it. Uh, Listen, we got to do something about the climate chaos, or we are in trouble as a species, and every other portion of the ecosystem is in trouble because human beings can't get it right. I can get along with you just fine if you believe that we must reform a legal system that sees black men as somehow more criminal than anybody else. Then you throw in black women and other people of color, and then poor people for all walks of life. I can get along with you just fine if you believe that people should be able to unionize in this country without fear of losing their jobs, that women deserve their whole damn dollar, that voting is fundamental and we should be on the battlefield fighting for it, fighting recalcitrant Democrats and fighting Republicans who have lost their ever-loving minds. So, Dario, there are many, many ways that I can get along with folks, but what I can't abide by is continuing to allow policy positions that hasten and deepen the suffering of people who have been catching hell for too long. That's what I can't abide by. So the type of Democrat I am might not be the type of Democrat that some of them folks want to roll with. I come from the Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm school of thought, unbought and unbossed. So as long as people are willing, ready, and able to stand up for the least of these, our sisters and brothers and family friends, we're going to get along just fine. Now, as far as my record, you asked me, I've worked, listen, I was in the legislature as you laid out. I was in the Ohio Senate. Republicans had super majorities. Baby, I know how this thing works. And there were times, now, Republicans did not need, when I was there, and they don't need it now, they didn't need Democrats to come to the floor to pass anything. They could pass whatever they wanted because they had super majorities. But let me tell you something. From time to time, they would come see Sister Turner in my office, and they would say, Senator Turner, what must we do to be saved? In other words, what must we do so that you don't take the floor on this issue right here? What is it that we have to do? And Dario, I bring this up because they could pass whatever they wanted, but from time to time, they just did not want Sister Turner to shed light on their misdeeds. They didn't. And we had conversations. I was a co-chair of the Children's Caucus there with one of my Republican colleagues, Peggy Lehner from the Dayton area. We didn't agree on most. She was pro-life. I'm pro-choice. She was conservative. I'm a freedom-fighting progressive. But we came together in that Children's Caucus and stood, strong for what we believe that children in this state needed. I came together with Governor John Kasich on having real reforms for the first time in the history of this state for law enforcement agencies after the murder of young Tamir Rice, a black boy on a playground in Cleveland. When the governor called me, Davio, I only had a month and a half left on my term because I had ran for Secretary of State in 2014. And when the governor called, he wanted to know what was the mood in Cleveland. And I said, Governor, people are aching. People are hurting. Nobody was hurting more than Tamir Rice's mother, Samaria Rice, and shout out to her. But people were hurt. And I said, Governor, look, I just sent you a letter as a black mama, not as a state senator, but as a black mama of a black son that could have been my baby, that happened to. And we who have power must do something. And long story less long, the governor wrote an executive order. He signed that executive order, creating a community and police task force on police relations. And he made yours truly one of the co-chairs. It was me and his safety director, Director John Bourne. Now, the governor and I fought all the time. No surprise there. But when it came to something of great importance to the black community and the state by extension, the governor said, you know what? I know whose hands I want to put this in. And he put me right there, Dario. So those are just a few examples of many. Listen, I'll sit across the table with anybody. I'll sit across the table with Satan himself or herself, because sometimes Satan is a devil, is a woman. You just got to tell it what it is. Sometimes Satan is a man, sometimes Satan is a woman. That's just an equal opportunity. But I'll sit across the table with anybody as long as we can come there as honest brokers. And we can be honest about what we're fighting for. And if we're fighting for a certain type of justice, even though we might not agree with 100 things, but on one thing we can agree, baby, let's go on and get it done.
Senator Turner, let everybody know how to follow you on social media, how to get more information about your campaign, all that good stuff.
Oh, they can go to ninaturner.com. That's ninaturner.com. Nina Turner on Twitter and Nina Turner Ohio on Instagram. They can find me Nina Turner OH on Facebook.
Thank you so much for being here. And I want to say this to you, Senator, and I've told people this privately. You know, I have a lot of respect for you. I don't agree with all of your policy positions, but one thing that I know for sure, I know you give a damn about these people. And I think that fundamentally, like that should be the basic thing that we should expect from all of our politicians. So I just want to tell you, I want to give you your flowers directly, that I have a lot of
Thank
respect for
you.
you because I truly believe that you give a damn about these people.
Thank you, Dario. I appreciate that. And we don't have to agree on everything. You know, there's a saying when two people, if two people always agree, one is not needed. I just appreciate you giving me this opportunity and being willing to be in dialogue with me and many others that you might not necessarily see eye to eye. You know, Stephen Covey, he was a great leadership guru. He once said, seek first to understand and then to be understood. And I'm so glad that I had this opportunity to be with you and to understand and then to be understood. God bless you, sir, for all that you do for our community.
God bless you, Senator. It's an honor and privilege. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.